You feel stuck. You feel trapped. You feel like you are in a real life Groundhog Day where your 9 to 5 is your trap Monday through Friday and it just repeats. We can hear that voice in the back of our head going, dude, get the fuck out of here. We gotta change some shit. This isn't okay. No, 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 dude. It's okay. If this is you, I've been there. I worked the 9 to 5. I worked in these jobs that I didn't want to do, and then I had to get out. I had to escape. I had to change it all, right? I went into martial arts, fighting and competing competitively, and running martial arts schools and living that life. And although it didn't pay a lot, I was still able to survive and do what I love for a living. And then I got into medical qigong, so working in Chinese medicine and helping people. So I've been able to find systems that work for me. Before I knew the how, I had to know the what. And then after, I had to know the why. Why am I getting stuck in this? Because if I don't know why I'm stuck, then I can't get unstuck. I don't have that motivation to keep me disciplined to get me the fuck out of this cycle. Okay. And then what we can do is we can talk about the how, at least the beginning stages of the how, because everyone's going to be a little bit different. Follow along for the next few minutes, and I'm sure that if it's not perfect for you, you're going to pick up something and change your life. Let's get into this and let's see what's going on, why you got into it, how to get out of it if you want to, and how to change your life. So let's look at these bullshit modes, right? So I tried to make this in like a video game thing, like a Switch, so it makes it a little bit more digestible and more fun for me, really. So the reason we get into this in the beginning is because number one, people tell us this what to do, right? Like you go to school, people are like, oh, you need to get good grades so you can get a good job. You get a good job so you can make a lot of money. You make a lot of money so you can buy a house, have a family, and then retire. Okay, well, I've been watching people retire now with no real hobbies because they worked themselves to the bone, no real dreams because all they wanted to do was work and retire. And now they've become so stagnant in their lives that over the past few years, they've started to crumble and fall apart and they're just dying. They're dying at a quick rate. And this is the norm. They were told this what to do. No one had gotten there yet. So what do they know? Right. So we look at these bullshit modes, right? Some some things that BS jobs do for us. Beginner mode, it puts money in your pockets, right? We got to get a job, we got to make some money so that we can pay our bills, right? You got to put gas in the tank, you got to put food in your belly, you got to pay for the gym membership, you got to pay for rent, you got to pay for all these things. And so you need a job just to take care of that at a basic level. You can look at it like the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? We're going to start with the basic needs. You're going to make sure you have shelter, food, gas in the car, whatever it might be, transportation to get around to do things, right? So that's the very basic. Then you look next and it's like, okay, this gives us a sense of purpose and productivity. I mean, you look at people that are really good at avoiding their what we get into next, your calling, your actual purpose, and um, they'll just stay busy for the sake of staying busy because they can't deal with their own mind. They can't deal with listening to themselves. Quite frankly, if you listen to them talk, you can't listen to them either. Right? So it gives us a sense of purpose and productivity. Hey, can't stay up all night, can't do all those things because I have to go to work in the morning. I'm very important there. Right? And that leads us to the next thing. And I see this with people that go further and further down this line without putting work into the thing that they hear in the back of their voice or the back of their mind, right? Is status. This is what they think they need, right? You get that business card, it's a CEO or whatever it might be of some job, accountant, who knows, right? But their title meant so much to them. And people look up to them and they're the boss, etc. Well, they're not the boss themselves. They are going to work. They're putting all their effort and energy into this thing, but they're going to bed unfulfilled. They're still going out and maybe it's drinking too much or maybe it's playing video game, whatever it might be. They're still, in a sense, stuck. Okay. So we move on to the next one. I love this one because this was me to some effect, right? When I wasn't delving into my creative work enough, if I wasn't writing enough, if I wasn't making the videos, if I wasn't going to martial arts enough, I was feeling really unfulfilled and my energy, instead of being put somewhere productive, it was going into what Polly was doing, right? Polly is polyamorous. She loves everyone, everything, and I'm gonna give all my love to everyone. I love him. I love him for this, and I love her for that. Right? So we're gonna get in a little triangle of love, or I just want to love him because he's so beautiful, so I gotta express my. No, dude, there's something you're running from. It's in here somewhere. There's a voice in your head that's like, hey, why don't we put a little more work into that? Shut the fuck up. I'm with him right now. Okay? Polly is avoiding her actual work. Jamie couldn't tell from the screenshot if there's a girl or a guy, especially with his uh if you look at like Scooby Doo, what is Velma? It's like Velma's colors. Jamie is probably I don't know. Who knows? But Jamie is into the rock and roll lifestyle. Does a little guitar here and there, just enough, and then he goes out and parties and does the drugs and drinks too much, and he he just rocks on, man. But like Jamie needs to cut that shit out. He needs to go home and write that song that's been kicking around in his brain forever. And then he needs to record it, and then he needs to put it out there. And then he then needs to do it again, do it again, do it again. Right? So Jamie is avoiding his work as well. Now we look at Lauren. PhD, she's been in school forever for Victorian studies and studying Shakespeare and all these writers, but hasn't written her book yet. I gotta stop shaking this. She hasn't written her book yet. She's avoiding it. She's avoiding it by consuming and learning and learning and learning and learning, right? Consume, 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 but you need to be creating, 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 right? You're better off in a cycle of creativity and creating and then when you're stuck going, huh, I should probably consume something about this. Maybe get a little inspiration from somewhere else besides myself. And then last we look at Kate. She's a doctor because she really wanted to get into it. It's what her parents told her, and she was in medical school for so long. And you know, this is what I'm supposed to do. It's a very safe and secure profession. But she loved movies all her life growing up. That was her one escape when she wasn't doing her homework. She was like, I was going to watch this movie. Right? She's like, oh, I could make a really good movie. I could do that. But instead of doing that, she's just a doctor, which is great. We need doctors. Don't get me wrong. But Kate, for herself, really wants to put some work together and put it out there for people. And she's avoiding it by just being a doctor. And that's fine. Right? That's fine. But it's not what she wants. And so she's not happy. And that starts to spill out in other things. Excuse me, I'm a little stuffed up. It's cool how that does that. And why do we do these things? There's no real risk. I mean, if you look at it that way, right? If I'm a doctor, there's no real risk, right? I'm helping people. I'm still making a good living. I'm helping others. Blah 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 blah. Right? Um, Jamie, a little bit more of a risk, right? Going out drinking and partying, right? A little bit of a risk there, but not really. And then Polly is loving everyone. I mean, her real risk isn't. I mean, it's just loving everyone, man. Just free love. And then who was our other one? Um, Lauren or something? I don't know. I forgot the name. But she's the one that is in school all the time, right? Say, I can get good grades. I'm a good student. Okay, well, the real risk that we're avoiding is putting your work out there and having it, like no one cares. You put out your work, no one buys it. Put out your work and people critic, crit, critique it, right? They don't like it. Happens, right? That hurts. I mean, it's pour your heart and soul into something, and then people are like, yeah, don't care. That's a risk. It's a risk. But we learn and we get better from that. And you're also fitting in, right? If you're a doctor, you have all your doctor friends and everyone, you're doing that. Cool. Everyone's a doctor, right? That's a totally respectable thing. Okay. Jamie works this and he goes out and parties with his friends. They're all partiers. Cool. Love it. And then Polly, has 45 boyfriends and girlfriends. Awesome. Good for you, Polly. You're fitting in, right? Everyone, you're so polyamorous. I'm in an E&M relationship. Ah, yeah. Free love. And then Kate's in school. She's in the just constant cycle of education, right? The academics. They're all academics. It's denial. You're just denying yourself that creativity, that spark. You hear it. You feel selfish, right? But like you need to put in the work and you need to put something out there. You're in denial. It's okay, but you're in denial. And it's distraction too. Distraction's fun, right? I used to play video games way too much. I used to be kind of a sex addict too. Way too much, right? And it starts to mess you up. Alcohol, my God, that was a huge one for me, right? And now none of those things really have any grasp on me. Like I still have sex from time to time with, someone that I would find important in my life. Um, Still have alcohol here and there, not to excess, really. Just don't really feel like having it. And then video games, I'll like once a week play a video game. Fine with it. Ah, it's so much fun. So there's the thing, right? You know the deal. What do you pick? You can go for the truth. You know what it is. You know you would have to sit there and think, okay, I gotta take a long, hard look at myself. What is this voice inside of my head? I need to start putting effort behind my creativity. We all have this little spark inside of your heart, right? Especially in Chinese medicine, they'll call it your phoenix, right? This is where your soul comes from. It's in your vibration. Everything that's within you comes to your heart, and when it goes bump, bump, it sends out that electric vibration, which is real. That's a Western science thing. It's not some voodoo, whatever, right? As it pumps out, whatever's in your body, whatever's going on in your mind, right? So physical, mental, emotional mind goes out into the world. So are you creating and putting your purpose and effort into all these beautiful things? Or are you just like, ah, piece of shit, I'm no good, blah, 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 and then boom, boom. That's what it puts out there. And energy needs energy, right? Everything coincides. Like an atom needs electrons, and you get that electron. It's like they little pieces fit together, right? So energy is always coming together. It's always going to have the law of attraction. So whatever's inside of you and you're putting out there, and you're always putting something out there, it's it's going to attract more of the same. So you can either seek the truth or you can go back to the life of bullshit, and that's fine, right? We need doctors that just want to be doctors or okay, good at being doctors, or we need people that are, construction workers that just want to go make a paycheck and they want to go home, have some drinks on the weekend, go back to it, and they're fine with that. We need those. But this is for people that are really seeking to get unstuck. They know this is not for them. They know they are meant for something more. This is when they got to be the Neo in their own story, and they have to take the red pill. Pardon. Now what? This video is a lot longer than I expected, but sorry. Now what? You need to experience life. You need to take chances. You need to do things that you felt like you like doing, right? So for me, it's martial arts. I had to fight. Did it a few times. I was like, not really for me. And I still taught people and still helped people. And then I did stand up comedy for a little bit. And for a little bit, I mean like 2 months. And I was like, man, I have to be a white belt in this all over again. It's really tough. Could I do it? Sure. Am I avoiding some of it? For sure. Um, but there are other things I would like to focus on first. That whole like beginner step of having a job and paying your bills. I'm working on that right now. That being said, there are chances you need to take. There are things you need to try. You need to try writing. You need to try painting. You need to try teaching, or not even teaching. You need to try stand-up comedy, making movies, you need to start creating a bunch of different shit until eventually you find something you're like, oh, that was fun. I really liked that. And then you put it out there, right? So you experience until you get to what we call flow state. And you're like, wow, I didn't even realize how much time went by. I didn't even realize I was doing those things, right? So you're in that flow state. That is so important. And when you find yourself in those flow states, you need to be able to like either look at yourself afterwards or during and go, whoa, this is so much fun. And then that's where you need to start putting more of your energy because that is going to be energy that's like money in the bank, right? So as you put money in I'm sorry, like a stock, put money into a stock, this stock is going to pay back dividends. It's the same thing with this experience. You put money into this stock, the more money and energy you put into it, the more it's going to pay you back, right? So think of this less like money and think of it less like experience, whatever, but think of it more of putting money into something that's going to give you back money, but replace money with energy, which money is just energy, but that's a different thing. All right. So you've now created. All right. This is the hard part. Your first one's going to suck. It's going to be dog shit. Sorry, but that's how it goes, right? It's terrible. My first writings, they're shit. Every day I write 1,000 words because I know my first 1,000 words of the day are shit, right? Even my next 1,000 aren't that great, right? But you have to be getting the shit ones out of the way so you can get to the good ones. Okay, the first of anything you do is going to be shit. My first YouTube video is just me rambling. This one's not even that great, right? But we haven't done 1,000 of them yet. You know, we haven't done 1,000 YouTube posts or 1,000 Instagram posts. We're still getting there, right? We're still building this stuff up. You have to know it's going to be trash. And then once you have come to terms with the fact that you're just getting the trash out of the way, then you're kind of like, this is a little better, right? You look at the trash ones, you go, oh, right, well, we learn. Okay, how can I get better at this? And this is why it's so important that you find yourself in the flow states when you're doing these things because it needs to be fun too. You have to remember why you started this. You have to remember why you're doing it, and it has to be for fun. You have to enjoy it at the end of the day. It has to give you energy, even though sometimes it might take it can really be a drag sometimes because you're like, fuck, I don't want to do it right now. I just want to fart around and go out for drinks with my friends or whatever. It's like, okay, you can still do that, but you got to put the work in first. You got to get these out of the way. You got to get the repetitions in so you can get to that 5,000 to 10,000 mark, right? The number of mastery is 10,000. Okay, well, you got to get some dog shit ones and okay ones out of the way, and you have to learn along the way, right? And there was this Olympic coach that said, um, there are three types of practices for an athlete. There is days when you go in and you have a great day. There are days when you have okay days, which are really just good, and then you have days that suck. But you have to look at that in the law thirds and go, man, all right, today sucked, but I got that out of the way. And then you can now look at it in a grateful manner and go, cool, it's out of the way. So, I'm either going to have another good day or I'm going to have a great day tomorrow. And it might be another sucky day, and that's okay. Guess what? You got them out of the way. The sucky ones are out of the way. That means you got more good ones coming forward. This is important. You have to serve yourself to serve others. Meaning, you can't pour from an empty cup. If your cup is empty and you're drained, you're not giving yourself enough energy. If you're always going to this bullshit job and then you got to come home to a family that needs you, and then your wife needs you or your husband needs you, your significant other, whatever significant others, you are drained. You need to be giving something yourself. So you have to find this, whatever it is, so that it gives you energy. And it can be a hobby for the rest of your life, right? But you have to always give yourself the art and think that you're getting better. And remember, a rising tide lifts all ships. When you get better at something and you get more excited about something, you have to remember that everyone else is going to feel that energy and it's going to raise them, right? If we're all collective consciousness, better you get, the better your soul gets, the better we all get. Just by law of attraction, just by all the other, I think there's like 17 laws that are out there. We'll talk about this, but I mean, that's not a saying I made up. None of these are. A rising tide lifts all ships. Lift yourself up, and the rest of us will go too. We'll see it. You'll lead by example. Energy is contagious. Same thing, right? If you're excited and fulfilled and energized in the things that you're doing and you're around other people that are doing them, they're going to get excited too. If you go to martial arts, excited to do the martial arts, everyone's going to be excited. And if they're not really going to be drawn to you. And that's their problem, not yours. Now, when you learn, you want to teach because you're genuinely excited. You're like, oh my God, I love this. Did you know this? I'll show you this. Right? You meet these people all the time. You're like, wow, that person is a huge whatever nerd. The funny thing is that nerd is learning twice because whatever they consumed and learned, they now have to unpack it. And when they unpack it, they have to go back into that mind and go, oh, yeah, it was this thing. Oh my God, I didn't even see I was doing that. And I learned this. And oh, right. So to teach is to learn twice. Here is where it starts to get funky. Okay. You are going to lose and gain in this process. You may lose some things that you think is good, some things that you think is bad, is or are. I don't know. Um, but that's just you putting your good or bad on it. It just is. It's not. It may be uncomfortable, but it is not a good or bad thing. Um, so what you may lose your addictions. Like I talked about me losing an addiction to alcohol and sex, and like I don't really need them. I don't care about them. Every now and then I think about it would be nice to have a beer, and then I'm like, do what? I feel more stifled when I have a drink. So I'm like, I don't really get excited about it. And the sex, I'm like, I just feel more drained. I feel empty. Then what else did I have an addiction to? Food? I don't know. It makes it hard to poop when I eat too much. So, yeah, you lose your addictions. You're like, I'd rather just work on this. This is way more filling than any of those things could be. Then distractions. I mean, what am I gonna do? Go out and go to the movies? Go to a restaurant? I'd just be going to these things and doing these external things when internally I'm going like, I want to work on this. This is more exciting. This is more fun. Maybe I could start making jokes again, right? I start thinking about all these creative things, and I'm like, I don't want to be out here doing these things. But at the same rate, you have to have the experience to draw from. So a little bit of the external and internal, but it'll be less distraction when you're trying to do your work and more just like, okay, I did some work. Yeah, cool. I can go out. Let's have some fun. Let's do something besides this. Faulty relationships go to the wayside. And I can speak from experience as I started to get more into my medical qigong and my spiritual self, creative self. My life as I knew it crumbled. Um, I lost, and I lost. It just was no longer a thing where I had a relationship that I thought I was getting married, gonna have kids, blah blah blah, all that stuff gone. Um, Friendships that like I don't know, we were more drinking buddies than anything else, gone. Acquaintances gone. All these things just disappeared. People I known for years, just like we keep in touch, but like, neither one of us are drawn to like hang out. Materialism, I put an asterisk next to this. You're not going to be driven by the nice things. The nice things will come as a byproduct, meaning I'm excited to do the work and I'm excited to be compensated for it, which will be cool. And then as I'm compensated and I am given the energetic value of money, I will then upgrade my living situation, right? My living situation will change. I'll be able to help my family, my car, like all these things will start to get better. I don't need to chase the things. The things will get upgraded as I upgrade the life. Jeez. And then false reality, you'll no longer be working for the man and, like I wear a suit and tie and doing all those. It's just not going to be, it'll lose its value. It's kind of like Neo in the Matrix where, now he knows what the reality is. Like that doesn't really have an appeal to him anymore. He can manipulate it because he knows what it is, but there's no appeal to go back into it and have his memory wiped. Now, what you can gain is the opposite end, right? So let's get rid of the. Can I? Okay. What you can gain, you're going to be excited to work on things. You're going to feel purpose when you work on things. You're going to feel the truth come forward. Like, even as I'm doing this, I get so excited and just energy runs through me, right? And this is all authentic. There was no script. The only script I had was the first 10 seconds in the beginning. And even that I deviated from because I no longer made this 10 minutes. We're at 23. Jesus. You can see my energy is through the roof. You can see it. It might have something to do with the Celsius that I drank half an hour ago to an hour ago. But there's more to it, and you feel fulfilled, right? After I'm done with all this, I will feel like I was really productive today. I know I didn't earn a single dollar, but I tell myself every day money comes to me abundantly, freely, and I see it everywhere. Say that to yourself often, and you'll see things come to you. All right. This is important because I have had to deal with this. This is hard to read. Sorry. I've had to deal with this hands on and subsequently my friends, and I feel bad. And so I'm going to, this is like a huge caution. I should put it up there like caution. The yin and yang, it's not yang. Stop being American. Stop being English, but it's yin and yang principle. For each and every action, there is an opposite and equal reaction, meaning the greater you go towards your good and your purpose and what gives you meaning, and the more you clear yourself energetically of the things that were no longer good, the further you go that way, just like a rubber band, you can be snapped the other way. Meaning, I've gone super far this way, not even drinking that much, nothing, been really good, doing my qigong every day, walking that mortal tightrope, being the best person I could possibly be, and then all of a sudden get snapped the other way when I drink way too much and then I'm a blacked out mess. Happened. This happened last year. Learning lesson, right? But shit will get strange. It's very, very important that you let some steam off the kettle, meaning go super hard that way, but then bring yourself back a little bit. Whatever it is, do a little bit of sinning, but just a little bit. Just know that you can't be the perfect being. The perfect being is balanced. A little bit of yin, a little bit of yang. Okay, a little bit outside, a little bit inside, a little hot, a little cold, a little good, a little bad, right? Stay within that 60-40. We are humans. We need balance. Lastly, um, it was a long video. We'll try to chop this up in post, but this is not an easy path. This has been hard. I felt it tremendously. I felt depressed. I felt angry. I felt like I was in a rut. I felt lonely. Okay. I'm building this community. It is small. It is empty. But it's for people that are walking this path and trying to find them their higher selves and connect to their more creative selves. Um, so if you want the clarity, I call it cosmic clarity. The Discord channel will be in the link. Join up. We can always talk bullshit. We can talk about the creative process. But this shit ain't easy, and it's hard to do it when you're just walking it alone. You know, I found that, and I'm stealing this from James Smith, but your mates are your worst customers. They ain't gonna buy your shit. You know, they know you too well. They've seen you go through your hard times to your good times, but they ain't gonna buy from you. They never do. Your family, they don't give a shit. They're going through their own stuff. Your parents wiped your ass. They may want it a little bit, but from experience, my parents, very hot and cold. You know, my mom was like, "Yeah, you taught yourself how to read when you were young. I thought you were gonna be a writer." I'm like, "I do write all the time." She's like, "No, I meant like a real writer, like writing books and stuff." Tell her the other day that I put together a book and crickets. And so it's just funny. Your parents, your family, your friends, no one gives a shit. But this planet is 8 billion people wide. There's so many people that want to learn and want to get together. So um, artists need to be around other artists, as weird as they are, but it's all about being positive and spreading more art and making people happier. Okay. If you know the way broadly, you will see it in everything. Meaning, once you see the art in whatever it is, you'll see it in everything. You'll see the art in a simple line in Starbucks. You'll see the art in someone's clothing. You'll see the art in someone's hair. Oh, you'll see it everywhere, right? So you can appreciate it everywhere. So I want to end this now because a 10-minute video turned into a half-hour video. I got a old timer going that I've been looking at. So final notes: do the work, right? Show up consistently, right? It may not be daily, but it should be, right? Even if that's just journaling. If you're a writer, got some words down on paper every day. Keep a journal with you. If you have the time, write deeply. Um, but one thing I can tell people is always let gas off the pedal. You need to fuck around. You need to um, build distance because distance makes the heart grow fonder. So that being said, I hope you have a great day, and I hope this can inspire you to do a little work. But again, jump in the Discord. We can talk. Again, I want to build a community where everyone can just fuck around, share their stuff, share the wins, be positive, and we build everyone up. So again, happy whatever day you got. For me, it's Sunday. I'm gonna go put this down and maybe post later, but I'm gonna go artistically make some pizza, eat a big meal, and enjoy the rest of the night. So, toodles, much love, happy fucking Sunday.